Nathan Collins stood at the viewport of the research vessel Horizon, watching distant stars shimmer against the black canvas of space. As Chief Science Officer, he should have been reviewing the latest sensor data, but the message from Galactic Council headquarters had left him frustrated and distracted. 8 years, he muttered. 8 years we've been part of their precious council, and they still treat us like children. Behind him, Captain Olivia Ward entered the observation deck. She moved with the quiet confidence that had earned her command of humanity's most advanced research vessel. "Let me guess," she said. "You're brooding about the Council's response to our findings." Nathan turned, running a hand through his short brown hair. "They dismissed it completely," Olivia called it typical human overcaution, and recommended we focus on our assigned research areas. Olivia leaned against the railing beside him. The Zentari representative was particularly condescending, I heard. Ambassador Kralvor said humans were uniquely skilled at seeing dangers where none exist. Nathan's voice carried the edge of someone who'd heard similar sentiments too many times. He actually called our species evolutionarily disadvantaged, but admirably cautious. "Better than what the Draconis call us," Olivia replied with a wry smile. "Their term translates roughly to soft-skinned cowards." The irony wasn't lost on either of them. Humanity had joined the galactic community only after centuries of careful preparation. While other species had rushed to claim territories and resources, humans had approached space with measured steps and extensive safety protocols. This caution had branded them as weak among the more aggressive species that dominated council politics. "The energy readings from Sector 87 are real," Nathan insisted, pulling up a holographic display showing wave patterns in vivid blue. "These aren't random fluctuations. They're structured, rhythmic. Like a heartbeat," Olivia observed. "Or a countdown," Nathan countered. "Whatever it is, it's getting stronger." The patterns have increased by 17% in just 2 weeks. Olivia studied the data carefully. As a starship captain, she balanced scientific curiosity against the safety of her crew. "What would you suggest?" "We investigate. The sector is only 3 days at maximum drive." The captain frowned. The Council explicitly ordered all vessels to avoid that region. Based on what? Ancient legends. Vague warnings in some forgotten database. Nathan's passion was evident in his voice. "That's not science, Olivia. That's superstition." Their conversation was interrupted by the ship's eye. "Captain Ward, incoming transmission from Council Representative Kralvor." The viewport transformed into a communication screen displaying the rigid, angular features of a Zentari diplomat. His violet eyes narrowed at the sight of Nathan. "Captain Ward," Kralvor began, his voice carrying the metallic undertone common to his species. "I trust you received our decision regarding your science officer's concerns." "We did, Representative," Olivia replied neutrally. "Good. The Council has allocated Sector 87 to Draconis exploratory forces. Human vessels are to maintain standard patrol routes." The Zentari's expression conveyed thinly veiled contempt. "Your species' tendency toward excessive caution is noted, but unnecessary." After the transmission ended, Nathan turned to Olivia. "The Draconis won't recognize what they're looking at. They'll see a potential weapon and try to claim it without understanding it." Olivia gazed at the star map, her decision already forming. "Plot a course for Sector 87. Nathan, quietly, we'll investigate your energy signatures before the Draconis arrive. The Council won't approve." "Sometimes being cautious means taking action when others won't," she replied. "Besides, they already think we're cowards. What's the worst they can say?" As Nathan hurried to prepare his science team, neither of them realized their decision would soon change humanity's place in the galactic order forever. 3 days later, the Horizon dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Sector 87. The bridge crew worked in focused silence as the ship's sensors swept the unexplored region. "All systems nominal," reported Communications Officer Ben Miller. "We're running silent as ordered, Captain." Olivia nodded, her attention fixed on the main view screen. "Nathan, What are we looking at? Nathan hunched over his science station, eyes widening as data flooded his displays. Energy readings are off the charts. The source is approximately 2 million kilometers ahead, obscured by that dust cloud. Approach with caution, Olivia ordered. Minimal thrust, maintain stealth protocols. As the horizon edged forward, the dust cloud gradually parted to reveal what lay hidden within. Gasps echoed across the bridge. "My God," whispered Nathan. Floating in space before them was a massive structure unlike anything in known galactic records. It resembled a geometric flower with countless metallic petals arranged in concentric rings around a glowing central core. The entire construction spanned nearly 20 kilometers in diameter, its surface covered in intricate patterns that pulsed with blue-white energy. "It's artificial," Nathan confirmed, his voice filled with awe. "And ancient. Material analysis suggests it's been here for at least 50,000 years. Is it a station? A vessel?" asked Olivia. Nathan shook his head. "Neither. The configuration suggests it's some kind of device." His expression darkened as new data appeared. "Captain, I'm detecting massive power buildups. Whatever this thing is, it's activating." Security Chief Alan Martinez spoke up from his station. "Should we consider it a threat?" "Unknown," Nathan replied. "But the energy signatures are similar to weapon systems. Very, very powerful weapon systems." Olivia made a quick decision. "Contact the Galactic Council. They need to see this." Within minutes, a communication channel opened to show Representative Kralvor. His composed demeanor vanished upon seeing the horizon's location and the structure behind it. "You were ordered to avoid that sector," he hissed. "Remove your vessel immediately." "Representative," Olivia replied calmly, "we've discovered an ancient device of unknown purpose. It appears to be powering up and could pose a significant threat." The Zentary's expression shifted to something Nathan recognized as fear. "The awakening device," Kralvor whispered. "The legends were true." "You knew about this?" Nathan demanded. "There are stories, passed down through multiple species, of a judgment device left by the ancients. It activates when certain conditions are met." Kralvor composed himself. "Captain Ward, you will withdraw at once. This matter will be addressed by the full council." After the transmission ended, Nathan turned to Olivia. "They knew something was here, and they kept it secret. Or they dismissed it as legend until now," Olivia countered. "Either way, we need more information before we leave." Nathan nodded. "I'd like to launch a series of probes. We can gather data without getting closer." For the next 6 hours, the horizon monitored the ancient structure as it continued to power up. Nathan's team worked frantically to analyze the incoming data. "Captain," Nathan finally reported, "based on our analysis, this device appears to be some kind of automated defense system. It's generating targeting vectors toward populated systems." "Threat assessment?" Olivia asked grimly. "If this activates fully, it could destroy planets." Nathan looked up from his console, and its first targets appear to be the homeworlds of the Draconis Empire. Olivia's face hardened with resolve. "Prepare a complete report for the council. They need to understand what we're dealing with." "And if they refuse to act?" asked Alan. "Then we'll have to find a way to stop it ourselves," she replied, watching as another section of the ancient weapon blazed to life. The emergency session of the Galactic Council began in chaos. Representatives from 27 species shouted over one another while holographic displays showed the destruction of 2 Draconis colonies in the outer systems. The ancient weapon had fired for the first time, and panic spread through the Grand Chamber. Supreme Commander Vorax of the Draconis stood at the center, his scaled skin flushed dark red with fury. 2 colonies, gone in seconds, millions dead. His massive fist crashed down on the speaking podium. "The Draconis Empire demands immediate military action." The council leader, an elderly Zentari named Mevkar, raised her hands for silence. "We must proceed with wisdom, not rage. This device predates all our civilizations." Nathan and Olivia stood on the human delegation platform alongside Ambassador Samuel Griffin. They had been summoned to present their findings after the weapon's first attack. "The science team from the Horizon has prepared a report," Mevkar announced. "We will hear them now." Nathan stepped forward, trying to ignore the hostile glares from the Draconis section. "Our analysis confirms the device is a defensive weapon created by a civilization we've tentatively identified as the precursors. It appears to target species and civilizations that exhibit certain patterns of aggression and expansion." "Are you suggesting the attack was justified?" growled Vorax. "I'm stating facts, not making judgments," Nathan replied calmly. "The weapon is powered by an energy source we don't understand. It's gradually increasing in strength and will likely target additional systems." Ambassador Griffin stepped forward. "The human delegation proposes a small team infiltrate the structure to disable it from within." Laughter erupted from multiple sections of the chamber. A tall, insectoid Krell representative clicked her mandibles in amusement. "Typical human thinking, always seeking to avoid direct confrontation." "It's not avoidance," Griffin countered. "It's efficiency. A targeted operation has higher chances of success than a frontal assault." Vorax bared his teeth. "The Draconis do not hide or sneak. We will destroy this thing with our battle fleet. Already our ships gather for the attack." The avian Peric representative fluttered his brightly colored wings. "My people will join the Draconis. Only overwhelming force will prevail." For nearly an hour, the debate raged. The warrior species argued for immediate military assault, while others advocated abandoning the threatened sectors entirely. Human proposals for infiltration were repeatedly dismissed as cowardly and inadequate. Finally, Mevkar called for a formal vote. "The Council has decided. The joint Draconis Peric fleet will attempt to destroy the weapon. Meanwhile, evacuation protocols will begin for all systems that might be targeted next." "And our proposal?" asked Griffin. "Rejected," Mevkar replied. "The risk is too great, and the likelihood of success too small." As they left the chamber, Nathan couldn't contain his frustration. "They're making a terrible mistake. A direct attack will only accelerate the weapon's targeting systems." Olivia nodded grimly. "The Draconis fleet will be destroyed, and more planets will follow." Griffin glanced around to ensure they weren't overheard. "The Council has made their decision officially, but I know several members who privately support your plan." "What are you suggesting?" asked Olivia. "The Council can't authorize your mission," Griffin replied quietly. "But they also can't stop what they don't know about. The Horizon is still your command, Captain." Nathan understood immediately. "You're suggesting we go anyway." Griffin straightened his diplomatic collar. "I'm suggesting nothing officially. I'm merely noting that while the Draconis fleet engages the weapon, other vessels might not be closely monitored." Olivia exchanged a long look with Nathan. "We'd be risking our careers, possibly facing charges of insubordination." "True," Griffin agreed. "But if the alternative is watching billions die..." He left the sentence unfinished. As they walked toward the transport bay, Nathan's mind was already racing with plans. They would need a small team, specialized equipment, and a perfect strategy. Most importantly, they would need volunteers willing to risk everything on a mission the Council had deemed impossible. The Horizon's conference room was silent as Nathan finished explaining the unofficial mission. Around the table sat the ship's senior officers and key science personnel, their expressions ranging from shock to determination. "Let me be absolutely clear," Olivia said, standing at the head of the table. "This mission has no official authorization. Anyone who volunteers will be risking their career and possibly their life. I cannot order any of you to participate." Engineer Diane Powell was the first to respond. She pushed her red hair back from her face and leaned forward. "That weapon destroyed 2 colonies. If we do nothing, how many more will die?" "The Council believes a military solution will work," Nathan explained. "But our models show the weapon adapting to attacks. Each assault makes it stronger and accelerates its targeting sequence." Security Chief Alan Martinez nodded. His weathered face showed no fear, only professional assessment of the challenge. What exactly would we be attempting to do? Based on our scans, the weapon has maintenance access points, Nathan replied, activating a holographic model of the structure. We believe a small team could enter here, reach the central control systems, and disable the targeting mechanisms. That's a big assumption, noted Medical Officer Julia Bennett. We have no idea if the internal systems will be comprehensible to us. That's why I'm going, said Lisa Kelly, the ship's xenorchaeologist. Her quiet voice drew everyone's attention. I've spent my career studying precursor symbols and language patterns. If anyone can decipher their control systems, it's me. Olivia looked around the table. I need 4 volunteers for the actual infiltration team. I'll remain on the horizon to coordinate and provide extraction when needed. Nathan raised his hand immediately. I'm going. My sensor expertise will be crucial for navigating inside. You'll need engineering support, Diane added. Count me in. Alan Martinez stood. Security is my responsibility. I go where the danger is. Lisa completed the team. I'm your best chance of understanding what we find in there. The next 12 hours passed in a blur of preparation. While the joint Draconis-Pyrrhic fleet assembled for their assault, the Horizon quietly positioned itself on the far side of the ancient weapon, hidden from Council monitoring stations. In the shuttle bay, the 4 volunteers performed final equipment checks. They wore specially modified environmental suits designed for stealth operations. The Zentari were right about one thing, Diane commented as she adjusted her tool belt. This definitely fits the human stereotype of sneaking around instead of fighting directly. Alan checked his sidearm, the only weapon they were bringing. Being underestimated has its advantages. No one expects us to succeed. Nathan supervised the loading of their specialized equipment into the stealth shuttle. The warrior species see our caution as weakness. They don't understand that sometimes the bravest action is also the most careful one. Lisa joined them, carrying her tablet of precursor symbols and translations. The Draconis fleet is beginning their attack. We need to launch now while they've drawn the weapon's attention. Olivia entered the shuttle bay for a final briefing. The weapon's outer defenses are engaging the Draconis ships. Their sacrifice, willing or not, gives you your window of opportunity. Her expression was solemn. This mission has no official sanction, but know that many in the Council secretly hope you succeed, even if they won't admit it, Nathan added. Especially because they won't admit it, Olivia corrected with a faint smile. She clasped hands with each team member. Stay in communication as long as possible. The Horizon will remain in position for extraction. As they boarded the shuttle, Nathan looked back at the rest of the crew gathered to see them off. Humans were considered the weaklings of the galactic community, too cautious, too risk-averse, too reluctant to fight. Yet here they were, 4 humans volunteering for a mission no other species would attempt. The shuttle doors closed, and Diane powered up the engines, ready to show the galaxy what human cowardice really looks like. She asked with a tight smile. Nathan nodded as the shuttle launched toward the ancient weapon. It's time to redefine courage. The stealth shuttle glided silently through space, its advanced cloaking systems rendering it nearly invisible against the backdrop of stars. Through the viewport, Nathan watched the massive battle unfolding. The Draconis and Pyrrhic fleets fired everything they had at the ancient weapon, their energy weapons creating brilliant flashes against the darkness. They're not even scratching it, Alan observed grimly. Lisa pointed to a section of the structure that remained dark. There's our entry point. The maintenance access isn't part of the primary defense grid. Diane guided the shuttle expertly through the chaos of battle, keeping well away from the weapon's active sectors. As they approached, the true scale of the ancient structure became apparent. Their shuttle was like an insect beside a mountain. I'm detecting an energy field around the access point, Nathan reported, studying his scanner. It appears to be a simple identification barrier, not a weapon. Can we bypass it? Asked Alan. Nathan nodded. I think so. It's looking for specific energy signatures. We can modify our approach to mimic maintenance protocols. With careful adjustments to their shuttle's emissions, they slipped through the energy barrier and into a vast tunnel that led deep into the structure. Diane landed in what appeared to be a docking area designed for small service craft. "Suit checks," Alan ordered as they prepared to disembark. "Remember, we stay together. No heroics." The team stepped from their shuttle into the ancient structure. Their helmet lights illuminated a corridor with smooth metallic walls covered in intricate patterns that pulsed with faint blue light. "These are precursor script markings," Lisa said, her voice filled with academic excitement despite the danger. She ran her scanner over the nearest wall. "They're incredible, and they're active. The whole structure is like a living computer." Nathan checked his sensor readings. "The central control chamber should be 5 levels down. We need to find an internal transport system." They moved cautiously through the corridors, passing chambers filled with incomprehensible technology. Outside, they could hear the distant rumble of the weapon's defenses as it continued to repel the Draconis attack. "Listen," Diane said suddenly, stopping in her tracks. "That sound. It's changing." Nathan activated his communicator. "Horizon, what's happening out there?" Olivia's voice came through with interference. "The weapon just destroyed half the Draconis fleet with a single discharge. The rest are continuing their attack, but they're being annihilated." "The weapon's power is increasing," Nathan realized, checking his readings. "It's learning from the attack, adapting its defenses, and charging for another target," Lisa added, translating a pulsing display on the wall. "We need to hurry." They found an internal transport shaft, a tube of pure energy that connected the various levels. With Diane's engineering expertise, they modified their suits to safely enter the energy flow. "It's a controlled gravity stream," she explained. "According to my readings, we can use it to reach the central chamber directly." The journey through the energy shaft was disorienting, their bodies suspended in a current of blue light that carried them deeper into the structure. When they emerged, they found themselves in a vast spherical chamber. At its center floated a crystalline core that pulsed with blinding intensity. "The control center," Nathan breathed. Lisa immediately began studying the symbols that flowed across the walls. "This is incredible. According to these markings, this weapon wasn't built for conquest. It was designed as a protector." "A protector against what?" Ellen asked. "Against aggressive expansion," Lisa explained, her fingers tracing the ancient script. "The precursors built this to prevent any single species from dominating the galaxy through force. It targets civilizations that show patterns of unchecked military expansion." Nathan nodded slowly as understanding dawned. "That's why it attacked the Draconis first. They're currently in a phase of aggressive colonization. And why humans weren't initially targeted," Diane added. "Our cautious approach to expansion doesn't trigger its criteria." Their revelation was interrupted as the entire structure shuddered. Outside, the remaining Draconis ships had launched a desperate final assault. "The weapon's preparing to fire again," Lisa warned, reading the flowing symbols. "Not just at the fleet. It's targeting the Draconis homeworld now." The crystalline core pulsed with increasing intensity, casting sharp shadows across the control chamber. Nathan's team worked frantically as the ancient weapon prepared to fire on the Draconis homeworld. "We can't shut it down completely," Diane said, her hands moving across what they had identified as an interface panel. "The systems are too complex and too interconnected." Lisa continued translating the flowing symbols. "The weapon operates on predetermined parameters. It identifies aggressive expansion patterns and eliminates the threat." "Can we change those parameters?" Nathan asked. Lisa nodded slowly. "Possibly. The precursors built this as a safeguard, not as mindless destruction. There must be a way to adjust its threat assessment." A violent tremor shook the chamber as another section of the weapon powered up. Nathan's communicator crackled with Olivia's voice. "Nathan, the remaining Draconis ships have been destroyed. The Council is in panic. They're detecting energy buildup aimed at the Draconis homeworld. Billions will die if that fires. Working on it, Nathan replied tersely. Diane had located what appeared to be the weapon's targeting system. I think I can access the core programming, but I need time. Time we don't have, Alan warned, checking his scanner. The weapon will fire in approximately 7 minutes. Nathan studied the room, mind racing. Lisa, you said this was designed as a protector, right? Not as punishment. Yes, according to the texts, it was meant to preserve balance, not eliminate species entirely. Then we need to convince it that current galactic species aren't threats to balance. Nathan concluded, we need to reprogram its understanding of what constitutes aggressive behavior. Diane nodded. I can work with that. If we can modify the threat parameters, we might be able to make it stand down. They worked feverishly, Lisa translating instructions that Diane implemented through the ancient interface. Nathan provided support, correlating the weapon's systems with their modifications. The weapon's automated defenses have detected our presence, Alan announced suddenly. His scanner showed multiple signals moving toward their position. We have company coming. How long? Asked Nathan. 3 minutes, maybe less. Nathan looked at Diane. How much more time do you need? At least 5 minutes to complete the reprogramming. She answered without looking up from her work. I'll buy you that time, Alan said, his voice firm. He checked his sidearm and moved toward the chamber entrance. Keep working. Alan, wait, Nathan began. This isn't a discussion, the security chief cut him off. This is my job. Get that weapon shut down. With a final nod, he moved into the corridor beyond the control chamber. Nathan wanted to argue but knew there was no time. He returned to help Diane and Lisa with the reprogramming effort. We need to redefine what the weapon considers a threat, Lisa explained, fingers flying across the interface. Change it from targeting expansion to only targeting extinction-level aggression. Outside the chamber, they heard the sound of Alan's weapon firing, followed by energy discharges from the weapon's defensive systems. 2 minutes until main firing sequence, Diane reported, her face tense with concentration. The weapon's core pulsed faster now, the light almost blinding. Through his communicator, Nathan could hear Alan's labored breathing as he held off the defensive systems. Almost there, Lisa whispered, entering a final sequence of commands. Nathan's scanner showed the weapon's energy reaching critical levels. The automated defenses had broken through Alan's position and were approaching the chamber. Everything had come down to these final seconds. Got it, Diane exclaimed as the interface accepted their final command sequence. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. The core continued to pulse, building toward discharge. Then, gradually, the blinding light began to fade. The pulsing slowed, and the tremors stilled. It worked, Nathan breathed. The weapon's standing down. Lisa studied the flowing symbols. It's accepted the new parameters. It's recognizing all current galactic species as non-extinction threats. What about Alan? Diane asked. Nathan rushed to the corridor, only to find Alan slumped against the wall, his suit damaged by multiple energy blasts. His breathing was shallow, but he managed a weak smile when he saw Nathan. Did we do it? Alan whispered. We did, Nathan confirmed, kneeling beside him. You gave us the time we needed. Worth it, Alan said, his voice fading. Always said, humans had our own kind of courage. As Nathan called desperately for medical assistance, the ancient weapon completed its shutdown sequence. The core dimmed to a soft glow, once again dormant but vigilant, now with new understanding of what constituted a true threat to galactic harmony. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so quiet. Representatives from every species stood in solemn attention as Nathan, Diane, and Lisa entered. Behind them, Captain Olivia Ward followed, carrying a small metal container. 3 weeks had passed since the ancient weapon had powered down. 3 weeks of frantic diplomatic activity, scientific investigation, and profound reassessment of galactic relationships. Council leader Mevkar stepped forward. We gather today to honor those who did what we believed impossible. When faced with destruction, when our greatest military forces failed, it was the human team from the horizon who found a solution. Nathan glanced at the Draconis section. Supreme Commander Vorax stood with head bowed, a gesture of respect previously unimaginable from his proud species. The failed military assault had cost them dearly, but the reprogramming of the weapon had saved their homeworld and billions of lives. The humans succeeded where warriors failed, Mevkar continued, not through force of arms, but through understanding, caution, and sacrifice. Olivia stepped forward with the container, opening it to reveal Alan Martinez's service medal. Security Chief Alan Martinez gave his life to protect his team and complete their mission. We request this chamber observe a moment of silence in his honor. The silence that followed was absolute. Even the most militant species recognized the courage it had taken for Alan to face certain death alone. When the moment ended, Mevkar addressed the human delegation directly. Your species has been called many things since joining our community. Cautious, risk-averse, even cowardly. She paused, letting the words hang in the air. Today, we recognize that we were wrong. You have taught us that courage takes many forms. One by one, representatives from different species approached to offer formal gratitude. Most surprising was Commander Vorax himself, who placed a ceremonial Draconis battle honor before them. The Draconis Empire acknowledges its debt, he stated, his voice uncharacteristically humble. Your people saved mine when we could not save ourselves. We will not forget. After the ceremony, the human team gathered in a private chamber with Ambassador Griffin and several high-ranking council members. The ancient weapon has been designated as a protected site, Mevkar informed them. A joint research initiative will study it further, with the Horizon serving as the primary research vessel. Nathan nodded. We've only begun to understand precursor technology. There's so much we can learn. But the weapon itself, Diane asked. What happens now? It remains in place, Mevkar replied. Thanks to your reprogramming, it serves as a sentinel against truly extinction-level threats, rather than targeting expansion. Many species find comfort in its presence. Lisa smiled slightly. A protector, as it was originally intended. Ambassador Griffin cleared his throat. There's another matter the Council has decided. Humanity's status within the galactic community has been formally elevated. We now hold permanent seats on the Defense and Scientific Development Councils. The very areas where we were previously dismissed, Olivia noted with satisfaction. As the meeting concluded, Nathan found himself drawn to a viewport overlooking the vast galactic center. Stars stretched endlessly before him, home to countless civilizations that would never know how close they had come to facing the ancient weapon's judgment. Diane joined him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Quite a change, isn't it? 3 weeks ago, we were the weak newcomers. Now they're treating us like we discovered fire. We did what came naturally to us, Nathan replied. We approached a problem carefully, studied it thoroughly, and found a solution that didn't involve destroying everything in sight. Ellen would be proud, Lisa said, joining them at the viewport. She held a data tablet containing her translations of the precursor language, knowledge that would keep her busy for years to come. Captain Olivia completed their circle. The memorial service for Alan will be held on Earth next month. The Council is sending representatives from every species. Nathan nodded, taking a final look at the stars before turning away. You know what Alan told me at the end. He said humans had our own kind of courage. He was right, Olivia agreed. And now the galaxy understands that sometimes what looks like cowardice from one perspective is wisdom from another. As they walked together toward the shuttle that would return them to the horizon, Nathan reflected on how humanity's perceived greatest weakness had become their greatest strength. The species once mocked as too cautious had saved billions by understanding that sometimes the bravest action was to step back, observe, and find a path that others couldn't see.